Very much. Well, let's bring in New Heights Communications President Christy Setzer and political editor David Kuhn. Welcome to you both. Christy, let's start with you first. What do you make of the polls this morning? The Donald's still on top.
Well, now it gets fun. Now that Donald Trump seems to have real competition, I think here's where you really see the knives come out if we didn't think that they were already out before. I think the reason for it can really be traced back to that moment in the last debate in which Carly Fiorina took Donald Trump on and said, women across America heard exactly what you said, Donald. So I bet if we actually looked into the numbers, I bet it are Republican women who are driving this surge in support for Carly. The problem for her now becomes that now she will face scrutiny, even much more so, about her time at HP. And I think we know, especially on this network, it's not necessarily a record that she can be all that proud of.
All right, so David, what do you think? What do you think of everything this morning? I mean, Christy says it's just starting to get fun. It's been fun.
It's been dramatic, and it's only beginning. She's absolutely right. And with every debate, we can expect these polls to, can turn on top of each other. The big story, of course, as we knew from that debate, is Carly Fiorina. And frankly, it illustrates what we've kind of suspected, that Trump's numbers, while strong, extremely intimidating, are also fluid. And his voters, his supporters, to them, he is a vehicle for their anti-establishment anger. But if there becomes a better vehicle for that anger, they'll change vehicles.
And Christy, it's amazing. I mean, you've got Dr. Carson third in this latest poll, running 14%. He's drawing a lot of criticism right now over the weekend, saying, quote, he would not advocate that we put a Muslim in charge of this nation. How do you think that's going to go over, considering this poll was taken before he said that?
Right. Well, I mean, I think, look, to a section of the base, I think it's going to play pretty well. I mean, these are the same people that Donald Trump encountered in New Hampshire last week who said that, President Obama is a Muslim. He's obviously not. And that we need to get rid of the Muslims in this country. I mean, look, for them, I'm sure this will play very well. We also have, in our Constitution, it says no religious test, obviously, shall prevent someone from becoming the president of the United States. So many, of course, across the course of the history of this nation have come here because they faced religious persecution in their original country. I just think that the problem for Ben Carson is that, yes, while this is going to play well to a small segment, it's going to play extremely poorly to the broader electorate.
And I've got to bring you guys, good morning, Robert. I've got to bring you guys in here. And I know that as knee-deep as you are in the business world, you're also watching the political atmosphere because this is so important to business. On the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders showing his popularity in the state of New Hampshire, drawing a crowd 5 times as big as Hillary Clinton did at the same university just 2 days before. What do you make of this surge with Bernie Sanders?
Well, I think on the Democratic side, there's a lot of disgruntled voters, and Hillary Clinton's textbook establishment candidate. And voters are going away from establishment candidates, both on the Republican and on the Democratic side, because they've heard it all before, and it hasn't really generated anything for Joe Public, so to speak. So they're looking for alternatives. The problem with those alternatives is that they look great, they sound great, but you need the grassroots organization in each and every state.
You know who's not looking for an alternative, though, is Wall Street. I mean, Maria sits here with guest after guest after guest, big Wall Street bigwigs who have announced their support for Hillary Clinton in recent years, still unwavering support. I point back to John Mack, former Morgan Stanley head, who said, no, despite the email scandal, despite everything, he still supports. Why does Wall Street, why do they continue to back her?
Well, because she's telling them something privately. Right. My guess would be that she is not saying publicly. She wants to her capital gains tax plan. She wants to raise all these taxes. She wants to be as liberal as she can when she speaks in front of primary voters right now. But they're hearing something altogether different from her. I just want to point out in that sound clip we played of her, she's had decades to get ready to run for the presidency, and she still hasn't gotten a good laugh down. She tries to show energy. She tries to show energy, and it comes across as being funny. She's like, does that not throw the voters off?
I don't know. Last word to you on that.
I mean, I will say that we've always known Hillary Clinton is a poor political athlete. And in this case, I would say, on your point about Wall Street, frankly, whether it's Jeb Bush or Hillary Clinton, they represent a status quo.
If she's a poor political athlete, why is she on the grandest stage there is for politics?
Because, frankly, the best political athlete doesn't often win the presidency. Joe Biden in 2008 was a far better candidate, far better backslapper than Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, or John Edwards. He didn't go very far.
Joe Biden, his wife says that she's game if he wants to. Do you think he jumps in?
I still don't, even though it increasingly looks like he may.
That was confusing. Okay.
He's given all the signs that a candidate would. I just think deep down he's going to realize that Hillary Clinton has the establishment lane.
All right. Christy, last word to you. Does Biden get in and mix things up here?
I don't think so either. I agree with that analysis. I think that at the end of the day, she has already locked up so many of the grass tops votes he needs.
All right. Christy Setzer and David Kuhn, thank you very much.